So today is the first class. Today is Wednesday, 31st. So the first day. Let's look at this yesterday's class. Chapter 6. Okay, guys. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Where is everybody? Just 11 of you. Okay, let's wait for everybody else to come into the class. Where's everybody else?
你的稿怎么样了？你的拿么？
拿没了？
啊？
你是拿没了吗？
没有啊。
我就问你，看你的事业发展的怎么样？发展的非常的顺利。今天没有事，今天休息。
休息。
结果是小的。
Okay, can we start our class? Okay, guys. So I'm currently not on WeChat. My WeChat has crashed. So I will not be able to be on WeChat, to be reached on WeChat by any of you. However, I want you, Cyrene, to do something at the end of the class. Make sure everyone installs their WeChat on their phone. Sorry, Skype on their phone. 1 second. So this is my Skype ID. So Cyrene, please have everyone install Skype and create a Skype group and add everybody on the Skype group so I can be able to reach all of you. And this is my email. If you need to reach me, because right now, if you try to reach me, you cannot. If you text me, I cannot receive any message. My WeChat has crashed. So we need to move to Skype for now until I fix my WeChat. Then we'll go back to WeChat. All right. So Cyrene, install Skype. Everybody install Skype. Cyrene, create a Skype group and add everybody in the group so that we can move our communication from WeChat to Skype for now. Okay, until I'm back on WeChat, then we'll move back. All right. So we'll start with the class. So today we want to look at, let me share screen, chat. Okay. So if you remember, we are talking about planning, system development lifecycle. Last week, we spoke a lot about scheduling, okay, planning, allocation of resources, how to break down big projects into smaller projects. So today now we will move into the next part of the system development, which is requirement analysis. What is requirement analysis or determining system requirements? Basically, it means to find out what are the requirements the new system will have. And how do you know what requirements the new system should have? First, you need to know what the requirements of the current system is. You need to find out what are the requirements of the current system. What does it do? How does it work? When does it work? Who works with it? Why is it problematic? You need to ask all the WH questions, all right? What, why, who, where, when, which. You need to ask all the questions, ask as many questions as possible to get as many requirements as possible, because the more requirements you have, the better information you have, right? And the more better information you have, the easier to develop the system becomes. So what are the learning objectives of today? You need to know how to collect requirements, all right? Whoa. Sorry, I'm about to run out of power. I forgot to connect my charger. Great. Okay, so where were we? All right. So what are the process, or how do you collect system requirements? So you need to know that. All right, explain. So these are the learning objectives. All right. So this is what I explained earlier. Initially, we were at what? This was what we did in our previous class. Everything we have been doing so far was on planning. Now we've come to analysis. And analysis have two parts: requirement determination and requirement structuring. Today we will look at requirement determination, and tomorrow we'll look at requirement structuring. How do you determine requirements? Okay. So you, as a good system analyst, you need to have these characteristics. You need to question everything. You need to ask all the questions. You need to question everything. You need to consider all the issues and find the best organizational solution. You need to be impartial. Don't be biased, right? Don't say, oh, our company, we don't do this like this. We don't do this like this. Oh, our company, I think I prefer this. I like this based on your personal preference. No, you have to analyze the data, and from the data will tell you what is the best solution for the benefit of the company, not your personal preference. Even though maybe the best solution is to go with Mr. A, but you don't like Mr. A. You like Mr. B, but Mr. B is not the best solution. You see, this is your personal bias. Okay, so you have to consider all the issues and find the best organizational solution, best for the organization. All right, you must assume anything is possible. All right, so analyze your data. Don't go saying, oh, actually, I think this new system is impossible. We cannot do it. So you quit, you give up. No, don't do that. Analyze the data and use that, because you're still doing analysis. You've not started development. So you cannot assume you cannot develop the system before getting to development. Right now, all you are doing is analysis. All right? And then pay attention to details. You have to find every answer from every location. Okay? Every fact must fit. Reframing, challenging yourself in new ways. All right? Determination, deliverable. So what happens at the end of requirements gathering or requirements analysis? All right, you get obviously your user requirements. But how do you capture user requirements? How do you get your requirements from the user? All right, there are different ways to get requirements. Okay, one way is through interview. You interview people in the organization. Okay, ask them all the WH questions. Everything you need to know, ask them. You interview them one by one or in group, all right? Or you can observe them. You watch them. Watch them do their work. I see. You observe them. Okay, this is how they do, and you take notes. You observe. Observation is another technique or method of requirements gathering. Prototyping is another method. So when you develop prototype, you test it. Okay, what do you think? Okay, I think we need to add this, remove this, add this, add this. You see, from the prototype, you can know what you want in the next version. And organizational document analysis. Every organization have a document for their information system, right? Manual, reports, forms, all that document. If you analyze them, you can also gather system requirements, right? So these are the usual ways techniques people use to gather system requirements for information system. So interviews are and observations, interview techniques, these are what I just explained. Okay, from existing or written documents in the business, their mission strategy, business form, procedure manual, job description, all these documents from the company, documentations, flowcharts, they can also give you your requirements, okay? From computerized sources also, can also give you requirements like the JAD, case tools, report from existing system, examining the system itself. You know, you examine the system itself, you run the system, okay? You see what you can change, improve, but you can gather requirements from that as well. So this is what I just explained. Individual interview people from the organization one by one, or you interview them in groups. Observation, study business document, I just explained this. Okay, so interviewing and listening. All right, one of the primary ways analysts gather information about information system projects is by interview. You interview and you listen. You ask questions and you listen. Listen to what they are saying. Richard, I have already sent the PPT to the class. You didn't receive the PPT? Please, chapter 6, share anyone that maybe he came in late. Share the PPT with, never mind, I'll just share it again. So that's the PPT. If you don't, uh-oh. Hello, Dad. I'm in class. I'll call you back after the class. Okay. I'm in class. I'll call you back after my class. I'm in class, Daddy. To everyone. Why? Okay. So that's the PPT. Okay, let's continue. So how do you conduct an interview? You cannot just go and start conducting the interview. You need to have a plan, okay? Interview guide. You need to have an interview guide. The interview guide will help you conduct your interview. What is in that interview guide? You need to have your plan, your questions, what you're looking for. Your interview guide will help you conduct that interview. So you need to plan for the interview. Prepare the interviewee. Tell them, okay, I want to interview you tomorrow, 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Okay, is that okay? Okay, perfect. You have make appointments. Okay, please, I want to ask you questions about the systems. Oh my God. I want to ask you questions about the system. Okay, is that okay? Because we need to gather information requirements about the new system. You tell them what you want to ask them, okay? Don't surprise them or don't ask them questions they are not aware of or prepared for, all right? You prime them, you prepare them. Prepare an agenda, checklist, and questions. So when you go for the interview, you go prepared, all right? It's emergency. Obviously, you listen carefully and take notes, all right? Sometimes when you are preparing for or when you are conducting interview, you cannot write all the answers very fast. And you cannot ask one question and you tell the person, wait, let me write your answer. Finish. Okay, second question. What is this? What is that? What is that? Then the person will answer. Okay, this. Wait, I want to write. No. You cannot, you should not do that. So better take audio recording or video recording, whatever you choose, but recording. So you can run the interview smoothly and then analyze the tape later. Okay, the recording, analyze it later, and make sure you analyze this recording within 48 hours. Why? Because the entire thing is still fresh on your mind. The entire interview, everything that happened, all the answers, all the verbal and non-verbal answers are in your mind. Sometimes you ask a question and the person will be like, okay, sure. Even though the person said yes, but there's a way the person said yes. Is there a question there? Is there a problem there? You see, you need to explore more. You need to, so you as the analyst, you need to know when to ask more questions and when to withdraw, when to, analyze within 48 hours. Be neutral, don't be biased, okay? Don't choose a side. Be neutral and be open-minded, all right? And seek diverse views, okay? Like I just explained, if the person gave you an answer and be like, yes, you see? Even though he said yes, but there's something in that yes. There's a different opinion. You need to know what that opinion is. Ask more questions, probe more, find out what, so seek diverse view. If you feel that everybody is giving you the same answer, try and get other different answer. Like sometimes I do in class, when we are doing answer and questions and answer, right? Some people are giving me the same answers, okay? But I want to get different answer, different view, different opinion, okay? You as the system analyst, you need to explore every possible opinion, all right? Interviewing and listening. So this is an example of an interview guide. So when you're conducting interview, remember this, I will ask you at the end of the class, even in your test, I might also ask you, what are the types of questions? Whether it's interview questions or normal questions on paper. There are two types of questions. One is open-ended question, and the other one is closed-ended question. Open-ended question, it means questions that have unpredictable answer. Example, if I ask Siren, for example, Siren, how do you prepare your favorite noodle? How do you cook your favorite noodle, right? And then I ask Richard, how do you cook your favorite noodle? Do you think Siren and Richard will have the same answer? No, right? You see, that is why it is open-ended. The questions that have no specific answer. Okay, Siren can say, oh, I cook it first, I fry it, I add egg, I put noodles, I put chili, I put spicy, and Richard can say, no, no need. I don't cook it, I just eat it raw. See, everybody have different opinion. This is how you use open-ended questions to seek for different perspective and opinion. So with open-ended question, maybe Siren now give you an answer you've not heard before. You can ask her more questions, generate new questions, and ask her more questions to find out more opinion. Whereas closed-ended questions is the opposite, okay? There are questions that have already pre-specified answers, like true or false, yes or no, or your objective questions, right? They ask you, choose the correct answer. A, this, B, this, C, this. So basically you need to choose the answer from the selected option. That is closed-ended. The questions that ask the respondents to choose from among a set of specified answers, okay? Are you okay? That is a closed-ended question. Why? Because the answer is yes or no. Yes, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. Are you okay? Yes or no? Are you fine? Yes or no? Is this good? Yes or no? True or false? Closed-ended question. Nobody will ask you, are you okay? And you start saying, yesterday, this happened. Tomorrow, my mother will give birth. No one needs such answers in closed-ended questions. They want direct, specific answers. All right. So I told you, you can either interview people in a group or you interview them one by one individually, right? So what is the disadvantage or problem when you interview people one by one? Okay, you can have contradictions and inconsistencies. Maybe Olivia will say, okay, actually, I think this system is best if it is in color green. And then Zihan will say, actually, no, it should be color blue. Then everybody have different opinion. Okay, great, but which is the best opinion? It will give you difficulty in, you will need time to process, analyze, to come up with the best opinion, right? So this is the drawbacks of everybody have opinion, which is the best will be a problematic. But if it's you interview them in group, right? So this one say white, this one say black, this one say blue. Finally, everyone can discuss on why, and finally you can come up with a group answer of one, maybe brown. The group, everybody agree that brown is perfect, right? This is the difference between individual and group interview. So follow-up discussions are time discussion consuming. Example, I was explaining to you if I asked Cyrene how she prepares her noodles, and she now said, actually, during preparation of noodles, you need to add, example, tofu inside it, but you need to prepare tofu in a very special way, right? Now, I now ask her, okay, how do you prepare this tofu? You see, this is new question. But before, I have interviewed Ahmad, Olivia, Tracy. I didn't ask anything about tofu to them. But now I have new questions. I have new questions and new answers for tofu. So now, if I want to be balanced, I have to go back to all these people one by one from beginning to ask them the same questions about tofu. You see? So follow-up discussion can be problematic and time consuming. So people will prefer individual group discussions, because if there's a new questions, everybody can answer it at the same time. All right. New interviews may reveal new questions that require additional interview with those interviewed earlier. This is what I just explained. So if you have new questions, you might need to interview everybody again from the beginning, which can be time consuming, problematic. Whereas if you're doing it in group, it is more effective use of time. Instead of interviewing one by one, 30 minutes. And at the end of the day, maybe I will need 48 hours to interview 20 people. But if I interview all these 20 people at the same time, maybe I use maximum 1 hour. You see, it will save you time. You can hear agreement and disagreement at once, just like I explained, blue, black, green, they can all agree and choose brown together, and easy for you. It makes life easy for you. Okay, so maybe one person have this opinion, actually black is better, and then another person have, Olivia say white is better, Cyrene say black is better. So which one do you want? Should you choose Olivia or choose Cyrene? But sometimes actually the best option is when you combine both ideas. You see, black and white. Okay, we go for gray, synergy. You see, you combine ideas and get new idea. That is what synergy is. So this is an advantage of group interview. But the disadvantage, obviously, how can you get 30 people in a room at the same time to conduct that interview? You need to check all their appointments and make sure everybody is free at the same time in order for that to happen. So that can be very challenging, right? So nominal technique group. This technique is similar. No, it's actually a kind of individual and group work, okay? It's not individual work, it's not group work, it's a combination of the two. How do I mean? Basically, you give them all the homework, right? Or you give them all the questions, let them go and prepare. So when they prepare for it, they now come back, and now you have a group discussion. Everybody have come with their individual answers. And then you now analyze as a group each idea and which is better. This is what nominal group technique does. So let's read. A facilitated process that supports idea generation by groups. So what happens in the process? Members come together as a group, but initially they work separately initially, and then they come together as a group. Now each person come with their ideas, and then the group leader will read out all the ideas, and then they will discuss and evaluate. So group openly discuss each ideas for clarity and clarification. Then the ideas are prioritized, combined, selected, reduced. Decision basically will be made on each idea, and the best choice will be. So this is what nominal group technique does. So this is very common amongst JAD, Joint Application Development Effort. We described JAD system analysis and design technique in our previous class, so don't forget. And another technique is through observation. I have already explained this. Observation, you watch people do their job, how they do their job, okay? You observe them, and you take notes. Watching users do their job, obtaining concerned objectives of how they, so this time you're not asking them, you're asking them to do, you want to see how they do it. And while they are doing, you're taking notes, observation, you collect requirements through observation. But obviously, you know, when you watch people do stuff and they're not used to people watching them, their behavior, their normal behavior will change. So this is a problem with observation, actually. Like, for example, if you're writing an exam, right? For me, when I was writing a student and I was writing an exam, I don't like my lecturer to come behind me and be looking at my answer, what I'm writing. It gives me stress. What if I'm writing wrongly or writing right? I don't like people watching me do things I'm usually good at doing when I'm alone, okay? So when you are watching me, it gives me pressure, okay? So usually that pressure will make people behave differently, all right? And obviously it's time consuming. How many people do you want to observe? All of them, one by one, how many days? So you see, obviously, and you cannot observe all of them at the same time, even though you can get enough information. But so you as the analyst, you need to know when to use what technique, why, how, or you want to combine the techniques, or you want to choose people, you know, you need to know. And document analysis, that is the next one, all right? The documents of the company or the information system, you analyze them, existing business documents, right? It can give you a historical and formal view of the system requirements. Okay, so these are the comparison of observation and document analysis. You can read this later, it's very direct. Information richness, how rich is the information? Observation is very high. Document analysis, the information is not as rich because this is depending on what somebody writes. Okay, but when you observe, you will see both what the person wrote and more. So you can read this. These are the differences. Analyzing procedures and other document types of information to be discovered. So during your requirements gathering, these are the things you will find out. You will find out what are the problems with the existing system. I told you WH questions, right? What are the problems with the existing system? You need to discover this. What opportunity do we need to meet with the new system? Okay, this new system, what opportunity is it going to address? Okay, what direction is the organization going? Okay, who are the people using the system? Who are the people that will use the system? Who are the people that will influence the system? Who? Okay, values of organization. Okay, why, how, what? Okay, what are the values of the organization? Special information processing circumstances. What if there's a problem? How can we address it? Okay. What if there's you need to know this. Reasons for the current system design. Okay, why are we developing a new system? Okay, why? Why do we need a new system? Is the old system wrong? What is wrong with the old system? You need to know all of this. Okay, so what are the rules of data processing? What are the standard formats? How does data move across the firm? Okay, do they use PDF? Do they use Windows? Do they use what platform? You need to know all of these things during your information gathering. Okay. Next, analyzing procedures for other documents. Okay, for an individual or group, what describe how to participate. So useful document written procedure. Okay. These are all what I've explained. So this is an example of a procedure, how to prepare, collect information data. All right, you can read all of this later. Potential problems with procedure documents. So basically, we have what is called a procedure document, all right? A procedure document is a document that shows the procedure, or like a manual of some sort, or a report of a system. It shows you how a system works, okay? So written by somebody, okay? And it's being saved somewhere in the company. So now you now get this procedure document and you want to collect your information requirement from this procedure document. So what are the difficulties you might face, okay? Sometimes you might have duplicate reports, all right? Sometimes you might have missing procedures on it. Sometimes even this manual, it's out of date. Somebody forgot to update it, okay? And sometimes there might be contradicting information, okay? So you need to pay attention to all of this, okay? So there are formal methods of collecting data for requirement, system requirements, and there are informal methods, okay? I already explained this. Formal method will be the official document of the company, official documents, or official procedures, or official documentation. All right, the official way the system works as described in the organizational document. All right, now the informal way will be, okay, you leave the documents, you actually interview people and you observe them, you see how they use it, so that you can get your own information by your own hand from what you see. Okay, these are informal method. The business forms, I've described all of these. Okay, analyzing procedure documents. This is an example of a business form, an invoice, okay? Analyzing this invoice will help you get some information or requirements for your system. Okay, useful document reports. So what are you going to find out when you are evaluating reports, okay? You will know what the primary output of the current system is. From this report, okay? From this report, like at the closing of accounts, every company have end of the year account closing, right? They will give a report of what has been done the entire year, what was sold, how much was made, blah, 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 blah. You can use that report and trace backwards up until the initial data, okay? So if there's any problem in the system or in the process or in the activity or in the report, you can be able to see it from there. And then you can use that information in improving the next system, okay? So this is also a comparison between observation and document analysis. So time required for observation can be expensive. For document analysis, it will not be much, okay? Because obviously you need to make time to go to that place and observe it at the exact time. Those people are working. Maybe when you are free, they are not free. When they are free, you are not free. Okay, whereas if we are analyzing documents, the document is always free. So whenever you are ready to analyze the document, even in the middle of the night, you take the document and analyze, right? Time, expense. So these are just comparing the two. So you need to know why and which one you are choosing as a system analyst. You need to know your options, okay? So let us look at the different techniques for system analysis and design and how they collect their requirements, how they determine their system requirements in each of those techniques. We spoke about JAD. I told you JAD is a little bit similar to Agile method, right? So what happens in JAD? You bring together key users, managers, and system analysts, all right? Why? To collect system requirements simultaneously from these key people, and they are usually conducted off-site. Okay, so the staff in the client, the staff in the operation department, maybe you need one or two of them. Okay, the staff in the accounting department, maybe you need one or two of them. Okay, the staff in the managing department, maybe you did. So you gather the key users, managers, and analysts, you bring them together. And then you facilitate what is called group support system, facilitate sharing of ideas and voicing of opinion about the system requirements. You discuss, and then you come up with your. So another technique is case tools. We spoke about case tools used to analyze existing systems, help discover requirements to meet changing business options. And then obviously system prototype. We spoke about prototyping, right? Iterative method of system development until you have your final product, right? So when you develop version 1.0, 1.0, for example, so you can use version 1.0, test it and see, oh, actually, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it doesn't have this. Okay, so we need a new version, and this new version should have this, have that, do this, do that. So see, these are requirements, right? You take these requirements and develop version 2.0. Version 2.0, you use it, you test it, da, 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 da. Okay, version 2.0, actually, it can be better. Version 2.0, we should do this, we should do that, we should do that. You have new requirements for the next version, right? You develop version 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. Maybe you reach to version 10.0. Wow, this is perfect. This is perfect. No more changes is needed for now, at least. So now you keep having new requirements until you have your final system. This is how prototyping works, right? So JAD, I've explained this, intensive group-oriented requirement determination technique. Team members meet in isolation for an extended period of time, okay? Highly focused, resource intensive, and then they discuss what is, so this is an example of how a JAD meeting happens, right? You see, every member have their chair, right? So they discuss on the agenda, what do we have? They discuss each ideas, okay, open issues, okay, they create. So basically during this meeting, everybody that is here will share ideas, create ideas, and then come up with a solution. So who are the people that are in this meeting? Session leader, you probably will be the session leader as the system analyst, because you are the one in charge of the system development, right? Users, who are the users? People that will actually use the system you are developing, and people who are using the old version of the system that you want to improve or update or upgrade, right? And then managers, okay? Managers of the company or the information system. The sponsor, who are the people sponsoring the development or whatever, or your boss or your owner or whatever, or whoever it is, the sponsor. And obviously your system analyst, your scribe, that is your secretary, people who will write or record the session, and then your information system staff. Okay, but everybody played different roles in this meeting. Okay, session leader, obviously, they control the flow of the meeting, they facilitate the process. Okay, it's your turn, you talk. Okay, you wait, you talk. Okay, from this is the conclusion, you are the one in charge. Users, they are the ones that will actually use the system. So they have to speak. They need to speak a lot, actually. You need to let them speak a lot, because they need to express everything they want, everything they don't want, everything they need, everything they don't need. You need to ask them to talk, ask them many questions. They are the speaking, active speaking participants. Managers also, they are the ones that are always managing the problems if it comes up. They are the ones that have experience and knowledge dealing with users or dealing with problems or challenges. You need to ask them a lot of questions so that your new information system will be able to help them address these issues when they come up in the future. All right. Obviously, a system analyst, which is you. You should do more of listening, paying attention, taking notes than talking. Don't be the one talking like I am talking right now. No, you need to give them the chance to speak so you can listen. Okay, when you listen, you can get all the requirements, all the information that you need. Also, your scribe, your secretary, or whoever it is that is recording the session, their job is to record the session. And also your IS staff, just like you as the system analyst, they should do more of listening. Okay, so case tools, we'll discuss this. Okay, using prototyping for determining requirements. Okay, working. Okay, so we'll stop here and take 3 minutes break. And then we'll continue with the class. All right, 3 minutes break. Is that okay? Okay. Oh. I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. All righty. Let's resume the class. Shall we? Can we proceed? Hello, ni hao. Can we proceed? All right. So let's look at prototyping. So using prototyping during requirement determination. So you quickly convert requirements to a working version, okay? So I want this system to have this, to have this, to have this, to have this, to have this. Okay, you have enough system, enough requirement. You use it to create one version, version 1.0. So once this user sees the requirements converted into the system, which is version 1.0, they will ask for modifications or changes, okay? and will generate additional requests or requirements, which you will now use to develop version 2.0. I already explained this. You use that same process, okay? Basically, that is what happens in prototyping. But there are two types of prototyping. I need you to remember this, okay? There are two types of prototyping. One, how can NGT be used for requirement determination? Check. I think I already explained this. Right? Basically, JAD is actually a form of NGT, okay? So let us look at what NGT does. Where is, okay? NGT exercise is used to complement group meetings as part of JAD effort. Remember, I told you, in NGT, what you do basically, you give the assignment to members of the group before the meeting. Okay, this is what we are going to discuss on the meeting. Please come prepared or find answers or solutions to these meeting. Okay, to these questions or to these problems. Now, everybody go do their homework. When they now come, this is the time we'll now do group discussion. Now we already have answers and solutions. We have problem, everybody have their solution to the same problem. Then we discuss. It's different from just having group meeting. Nobody knows what you want to talk about in the group meeting. So it's in the group meeting, you bring the problem. It's in the group meeting, now you are looking for ideas or solutions, or you see? But if they all already have their work done before the meeting will be more effective, okay? Even though it's a group meeting, everybody already have ideas or answers, right? So what happens? Members come together as a group, but they work separately initially at first. Each person come with their ideas, and then they now discuss these ideas openly, okay? Now, do you understand? Check. Tintong lama. Out. We move. Where are we? Prototyping. Two types of prototyping, okay? One is evolutionary prototyping. So basically what I have been explaining so far is evolutionary prototyping, right? Version 1, you change it. Version 2, you change it. Version 3, you change it. The final version is actually going to be, thank you, Emad. I'm just practicing my Chinese. Focus. The final version of the prototyping, like version 7.0, for example, will be your final system, right? Because you update, and the final version of the update will be your actual final system, right? That is evolutionary process. Whereas throwaway prototyping, you have a prototype, okay? But this prototype, you did not develop it so that you update until it becomes your final system. It's just a sample of the final system. Then from this, you gather all the requirements, all the changes, because you just want to see how it will look, right? And then from that, you throw away this sample and you actually develop the system. Example of throwaway prototyping, people that use this kind of prototyping usually are engineers, okay? Or architects or builders. It's very common in this prototyping technique. Even people that design cars, for example, right? You see people that design all these tall buildings, maybe 200-story, right? Their initial prototype is very small on a table, right? That is a throwaway prototype. That building will look exactly like the final product that will be in the city center. But you cannot update this building and then it will become that building, right? After you develop this prototype, you are done, you collect all the requirements, everything is clear, you throw this away and you actually build that building. Do you understand? Okay, so let us read what is said. This prototyping, you begin by modeling parts of the targeted system. And if the prototyping process is successful, you evolve the rest of the system from these parts. A life cycle of evolutionary prototyping illustrates the iterative nature of the process of the tendency to refine the prototyping. So one key aspect of this approach is that the prototype becomes the actual production system. Because of this, you often start with those parts that are of the system that are most difficult. So basically, you develop, you refine the prototype, you change it, upgrade version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, until the final version, version 10. And then this will be your final system, okay? Whereas throwaway prototype does not persevere to the prototype that has been developed. With throwaway prototyping, there is never any intention to convert this prototype into a working system, like the small building or the small bridge or the small road or the prototype, or the small car or the small house that you build with, I don't know, maybe with wood or with whatever material, or with 3D printing, whatever material, okay? You do not actually intend to use that as your final product. You just want to see sample, right? So instead, the prototype is developed quickly to demonstrate how the system will look, because initially maybe it is not clear, to help users decide among different features and interface characteristics. So once uncertainty or all the issues or all the question marks is being cleared, everything is clear, okay, has been reduced, then this prototype will be thrown away, discarded. And the principles learned from its creation, that is the requirements that you now learned and tested, can be then become part of the requirement determination for the final huge building you build, maybe in Beijing or wherever it is, okay? But here in Hunan, you can develop the initial prototype as an engineer or an architect, very small. It will look exactly like the one you want to build in Beijing, but it's just a smaller version of it. This is a throwaway. After that, you throw it away and then you can build the real system. So remember the difference, okay? Using prototyping during requirement, most useful when it is useful when the requirements are not clear. Example, what you actually need is version 10.0. But you don't know exactly, if you know exactly what version 10.0 will look like, you can go ahead directly and develop it, but you don't know. What you know right now is the requirement for version 1.0, maybe. Okay, this is the requirement for version 1.0. You use it to develop. Then you get new requirement. You go to version 2, version 3, version 4, up until finally. So few users are involved in the system, or the designs are complex and require concrete form to evaluate. Complex design. This is why engineers use this, because the design is so complex. They want a simple version to see how it will look like. Okay, there's history of communication between, okay, you can read all this. These I've already all explained. You want clarity. You want everybody to be clear on what you want to do. Okay, this is the building I want to build. This is how it's going to look at the end. Is it clear? This is the color. You like this? If they have any problem, this is where they can make the changes, not after you have finished constructing the house, for example, and then the color of the house is brown and it's 22-story building, and finally somebody comes, the owner say, no, I don't want brown. Actually, what I wanted is blue. Now you need to paint 22-story building blue again. Whereas all these problems can be avoided from that small prototype design, the table version of the building, right? So what are the tendencies? Tendencies to avoid formal documentation. Obviously, people that want to use prototyping, there are people that want to use shortcuts of system development, analysis, and design. And people that use shortcuts, sometimes they don't look at the formal documents, all the documentation for the existing system. Sometimes they avoid looking at it, right? And it is difficult to adapt to more general user audience. Sometimes you develop the prototype, even though it's just a test version, and you give it to the user or to the owner, and the owner look at it, oh no, this is bullshit, or this is not good, or this is not, you discourage them. But actually in your mind, it is just sample for them to see and improve. But something happen and they get entirely discouraged. So it's difficult to adapt during general audience. So sharing with other systems is not often considered. Okay. So the system development lifecycle checks are often bypassed. Like I told you, people that want to use prototyping are people that want to go through shortcuts. JAD is shortcut, Agile is shortcut, prototyping is shortcut, because they want to save time and go right into the system development. So that is why they don't use the traditional system development lifecycle. Okay. The traditional life cycle, some people, they feel it takes too long and wastes too much time. So they want to use the different approaches. So radical method for determining system requirements. Search for and implementation of radical change in business processes to achieve breakthrough improvement. So business process reengineering. Sometimes it's not easy to change the business process of a company, because most companies, they will tell you that they are very traditional, right? Oh, we do this like this. This is our culture. Oh, we don't change this. We don't do this. We don't do this. But you need to be able to use technology to make radical changes, right? So what are the goals? Is to reorganize the complete flow of data in major section of an organization and eliminate unnecessary steps or combine steps that are usually multiple, and combine them into one step so that they become more responsive to future change, okay? Because we are moving into the future, all right? So things are quickly getting out of date. You need to improve radically, continuously be improving your business processes with technology and information system in order to keep up with the changing times, right? So how do you do this? Identification of processes to re-engineer. So what are the key business processes? Structured, measured set of activities designed to produce specific outputs to a particular customer or market. So you identify what are the key business processes and focus on customers and outcome, how you want to improve customer satisfaction or efficiency or ease or comfort or resources or time, and then how you want to improve outcome. So if you focus on this, you can be able to think of ways to make life easier, better, more efficient for both your profits, your outcome, and your customers. Okay, so the improvement of system or objectives or processes is basically the same, okay? Why do you want a new system? Basically, you want something to be better. You want something to be easier. You want something to be, okay, more effective. So you introduce what is called disruptive technologies, all right? Disruptive technologies are technologies that enable the breaking of long-held business rules that inhibit organizations from making radical business changes. Okay, disruptive technologies, even though they're saying, oh no, we don't do this, oh, we cannot accept this. But you are like, boss, actually time is changing. We need to move to the 21st century. But your boss is maybe 152 years old. He's so old, he only think of when he was young in 1822. and he wants to be doing things in 2020 the same way he was doing things in 1852. Okay. You have to introduce what is called disruptive technologies. Let's look at check. We'll come to that. I don't like it when you ask backward questions when we've gone really far. Okay, if you want to ask questions, you ask the questions right on the moment. We've passed case 2, like, I don't know, 20 slides ago, and you want us to go back there now. We'll get back to that, check, okay? If you have questions, ask it fresh. If you have questions you want to ask that we've already passed, maybe you wait because it can disrupt the class. Wait at the end of the class, then you ask, then we can address everything together. You understand? Okay, so now these are examples of disruptive technology. Okay, information can appear only one place in one time. Previously, maybe information appears one place at one time. Maybe in 1882, the information about something is on one folder. And this folder is on that file cabinet. And this file cabinet is in that building. And that building is in that province. And that province is in that country. So if you want this particular information on this particular page, you need to go to that particular place to get that particular information, right? But with disruptive technology, you can have things like distributed database or relational database. So even though I am in Nigeria, I can be able to access this file that is in Hunan library. Example, this class that we are having. Previously, it's impossible for me to be in another country and be teaching students that are in another country, right? But with disruptive technologies now, you can see how we are moving into the 21st century. I'm in another continent, but I can teach you and you can understand, just like, even though it's different, but you see technology is improving, is growing. Everybody have to grow with the times, right? Business must choose between centralization and decentralization. When they are having this kind of problems, with disruptive technology, you can have a synergy, okay? Because you can combine. Managers must make all the decisions. So previously, maybe if a decision wants to be made in a company, everybody must wait for the boss to come. But with decision support system now, what do you need to do? You put all the variables or all the challenges into the system, and the system will recommend to you what the possible or the best solution can be. Decision support system now can help even non-managers to make decisions. You see, these are disruptive technologies. So your requirements or your growth to improve systems should go towards disruptive technologies, okay? The best contact with a potential buyer is personal contact, but with interactive communication technologies allows complex messaging and capabilities. You see, it's all discussing the same concept, all right? So requirements, determination, okay. So all right. Requirements, determination for using Agile methodology. So this is another, remember I told you, Agile method is similar to JAD, right? So before I start explaining this, let us address Sheikh's question. How can you use case tools to use in the support of requirements determination? So basically, what are case tools? Case tools means computer-aided software engineering, all right? Computer-aided software engineering. So what happens here? So basically you use computer to engineer your requirement system analysis and design. Okay, so you can use case tools in any system development methodology. Okay, you can use case tools to, I will, in our next lab, before we finish our labs, okay, I will introduce you guys to one case tool, rational rules. Okay, you can use that case tool to develop your use case diagrams, specification diagrams, class diagrams, data flow diagrams, many kinds of diagrams to clearly help you see how the system will look like. So you see, case tools can be used actually, you can use case tools in any system development approach. Okay, it's just basically what you're supposed to draw manually. You have it using computer-aided software engineering. That is basically what case tools are. All right, so I hope that answers your question, Sheikh. Let's proceed. Where are we? Agile methods. Okay, I think I have one. Okay. So where are we? Sheikh, are you satisfied with the answer? You didn't respond. Can you hear me, Sheikh? So guys, do you think I am too fast? Because I got a message here that says I am teaching too fast and you cannot understand. So far, do you understand my explanations? What I'm teaching you, do you understand what I'm saying? Hello? Yes, I'm too fast, or yes, you understand. Which is it? Okay, that's good. Because if you don't understand, please tell me, okay? Don't keep quiet. I am here to teach you. And if you don't understand, that means I am wasting my time and I am wasting your time. If you don't understand, please do just like Sheikh is doing. You can type your questions or you can unmute yourself and ask me, okay? If you're not clear, make sure you tell me so I can clarify. Blah, 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 blah means blah, 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 okay? And so on, etc. I use that to mean and so on, etc., etc., etc. What else? Okay, please, if you don't understand, tell me. I will explain better. Okay, if you need me to slow down as well, tell me. Usually, I move fast when I think the point is too easy to understand. But if it needs reclarification, tell me, I will slow down. So let us proceed. Requirements determination using Agile methodologies. Continual user involvement. So basically, user will be involved in every phase of the development. Requirements gathering, you involve user development. Analysis, you involve user involvement. Design, coding, test cycle, user will be involved in every phase of the development, okay? So here you are focused more on user goals, user wants, user desires, user roles, and user tasks, more than organizational procedure or processes, okay? So it's also similar to extreme programming. So basically these are extreme programming, agile methodologies, JAD, these are all methodologies that are looking for shortcuts. They want to cut time and cut bureaucracy or the structured procedures, okay? We have the traditional procedures, they follow through structure. Even object-oriented programming is also a form of shortcut system development lifecycle. So every system analyst or system engineer, they have their preference, their personal choices, and their personal desires of which methodology to approach based on the company they are working for, their position, based on, like for agile methodologies, it's very common amongst expert system developers, okay, or expert system engineers, because they have a lot of experience in developing systems. So what they do, they reuse knowledge, okay? So sometimes they don't need to go through all the requirement analysis, even though they do, but some things they already know from experience and intuition. So agile methodologies, usually a lot of experts are needed in the team to work together. But as a new system analyst or new system developer, you want to try and use agile methodology, it will be very complicated. You might make a mistake, you might have a problem, and it can be a big disaster, all right? So you need to, for new developers, it is usually recommended to go through the traditional system development lifecycle structure, step by step, follow all the rules, and you'll be fine. You go through shortcut, if you don't know what you're doing, you may not be fine, okay? So continuous user involvement, just like I explained, during analysis, user is there with you. During design, user is there with you. This agile method goes also in iterative process. All right, let's move on. Agile user-centered design. Okay, gather a group of programmers. See, this is very similar to JAD, just like I told you guys initially. You gather a group of programmers, analysts, users, testers, and facilitators. Okay, you document the complaints of the current system. What are the problems the current systems are having? Okay, you determine the important user roles. Okay, now you determine the priorities and describe the tasks for each user role, one by one, okay? Then you group similar tasks into interaction contexts. These are the steps of in agile methodologies, okay? You associate each interaction context with a user interface for the system and prototype the interaction context, okay? So each task, okay, you group them into similar tasks, you group them into interaction context, all right? So you do this step by step all the way to the end of the system. And this is extreme programming. So all of these kind of techniques, they are, again, like I said, used in order to reduce time, and duration of system development. Okay, exploration, business. During exploration, the business write a story card. Development provides an estimate. Story card, okay, this is what is needed. Development will provide an estimate for what is needed. Then commitment, business sorts the stories by necessity. See, everybody is playing their part. Development sorts the stories by risk. So business write a story card, okay? Story A, story B. Inside each of these cards, it's telling each business process what is needed, how it's needed, how it should be done, blah, 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 blah. Then development will now provide estimates for each of these business cards, story cards, estimate. Then business will sort all of these based on necessity. Okay, this is the estimate. This is too expensive. Okay, maybe we don't need this. Okay, we need this. Maybe we don't need this. Okay, maybe we need this. Based on necessity. Then the development will now sort these stories again based on risk. Okay, now from the risk, the business will now choose the stories that are, okay, we need this and this and this and this and this. They now choose based on the risk, the estimate, whatever it is, and then they move on. Steering, business reviews the progress. Development will start the development of this. Then the business team will review the progress of the current development. Then the business and development will adjust the plan up until the end of the development. This is what extreme programming does. Okay. So electronic commerce application determining system requirements. So this is a case study. So now I want to use the rest of this class to ask questions from today's class. All right, so let me see. Okay. I'll ask the questions and you will give me your answers based on your personal opinion. Okay. So what are the difference in the two types of interview questions? What do you think? What are the techniques or methods for, wow, that was fast. What are the techniques or methods for determining requirements? What are the techniques or methods for determining or gathering system requirements? What else did we talk about today? Difference between group interview and individual interview. Just have your answers ready. I will call you and you will share with the class, okay? or you type with the class. If you want to speak, you speak. If you want to type, you type. All right. Right, disruptive technologies. Yes, Ahmad, hold on. Let me be done with the questions. Then you can choose which one you want to answer and you can answer. Let me find one more question. Okay. Redmail have answered question 1. He said open-ended questions don't have specific answers, whereas closed-ended questions are questions that have specific answers. Okay, that's one way to answer that. Ahmad, sure, you can try. You can unmute yourself and share your opinion.
Hello, Professor.
Okay.
I will.
Go on.
Audio has a problem. I would like to answer the question number 1. The difference between the open-ended questions and closed-ended questions.
Okay.
In open-ended questions, the purpose of that.
Can you reduce your volume from your end? Reduce your volume. Your echo is too loud. Okay. Talk now. Let me see.
The open-ended questions. I don't know the problem.
Hello. Can you all hear me? Sorry about that. I was trying to tap my volume and then I tap power button. Okay, Ahmad, can you continue?
The open-ended questions.
Okay.
The open-ended question, the purpose of that, we can get a lot of different ideas from different people. Like questions like, as you said before, we ask some students, some people, like what's your favorite sport or how do you cook your food? So by this way, we're gonna get different answers from different people. And it's very, but the closed-ended questions, like it's limited answer, like multiple questions, yes or no questions, and something like that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Well put. Very direct, very simple. Thank you, Ahmad. Who wants to try the next question? Margareta, Would you like to try? Who wants to try? Question 1 has been answered. Question 2 to 6 is still available. Give me your opinion. Pick one question and tell me what you think. Unmute yourself. Margareta, are you there? Who wants to help her? Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna call names. Dorothy. Dorothy, are you there? Just pick one question. Tell me your opinion, what you understand, what you think. It's okay. Just share your idea with me. Dorothy, are you there? Unmute yourself and talk. Hello? Dorothy, are you there?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Go on.
The interview questions
What do you think? Which question do you want to answer?
each interview questions, in an interview can include both verbal and non-verbal information.
Okay.
One question is questions that have no pre-specified answers, and the other question is questions that ask those responding to choose from among a set of specified responses.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Dorothy. So everybody understands interview open-ended and closed question or closed-ended. So no one should answer that anymore. We still have 5 more. Who wants to try? Leah, I've never heard you speak. Leah, are you there? Can you try? Pick one question and answer. I've never heard you speak, Leah. What do you think? Share your ideas with me. Choose any question and answer. Ni hao, ni hao. Leah, are you there? I think I am sharing my screen. Am I not? Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Great. Leah, what do you think? Pick one question and answer. Leah. Where are you? Leah, are you there? Somebody should help her. Tracy, can you help Leah? Unmute yourself and talk. Pick one question and answer. Yes, unmute yourself, Tracy. Are you there? Okay, go ahead. You can type. Red Mail is answering for group 2. It's a type of interview that 2 or people are being interviewed at the same time. So Red Mail is saying group interview is a type of interview that more than 2 people are being interviewed at the same time, and individual interview is a type of interview in which a single person is being interviewed. Okay. That is for question number. Okay, group interview and okay, very good. So that means this is out of the picture. Now we are left with how many more questions? 4 more questions. Yes, Sheikh, please unmute yourself and try. Choose one and.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I want to try question number 3.
Okay, go on.
That has to do with the disruptive technology. From my own understanding, disruptive technology technology that enable the breaking of long-held business rules that inhabit organizations from making radical business changes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I understand it.
Okay. So basically, there are technologies that help you to make radical business changes. That's good enough. So this is out of the question. Who wants to try another one? What are the techniques or methods for determining and gathering the techniques for gathering system requirements? I expect this one to be very easy. Who wants to try? Who wants to try? Cyrene, do you want to try? Which question do you want to answer? Cyrene, are you there? Hello, Cyrene. Tracy, I'm still waiting for your answer. You were typing something, yeah? Cyrene, hello. Leah, I don't know the answer of question 3. Okay. We'll get there. Cyrene, are you there? Which one do you want to answer? Pick one question. Okay, Leah, we will answer all the questions before the class ends. When does the class end? Oh, the class should be ending now. Tracy, throwaway prototypes are developed from initial requirements, but they are not used for the final product and not an alternative for written specification of the requirement, while evolutionary prototype is a software development method where the developer first constructs a prototype after receiving initial feedback from the customer, subsequently are produced. Okay, this is good enough for me. Okay, so these are the 2 types of prototype. All right, so, okay, because our time is up, I will just answer these 2. Or does anyone want to try? I give you 1 minute. I give you, just unmute yourself and talk. So basically, this is the answer for that question 1. What are the techniques? Okay, what are the method of identifying your gathering user? What's technique? What are the method? Yes, class is over. Let me answer this question. Interview, observation, study, prototyping. Those are the technique for answering this. Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are system analyst, manager, sponsor, user, stakeholder, people that are involved in the system development, okay? So this is the end of the class. I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye.